Have you ever felt lost in a sea of podcasts, wondering how to make yours stand out? Or maybe you're passionate about a topic, but unsure how to present it in a fresh and exciting way. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone, and this episode is for you. Today, we're going to be diving deep into the concept of discovering your podcast's unique angle, that special something that sets your show apart from the competition. I'll be sharing actionable steps to help you clarify your focus and create a podcast that truly shines in an ever-growing industry. So what is your unique angle? Your unique angle is what makes your podcast different. It's what allows you to set yourself apart from the other ones in your category. So if you think about podcasts on podcasting, there are quite a few of us out there. But what is my unique angle? What is that thing that I'm able to show as my selling point of why people should be listening to me? Yes, they can listen to other people too, but why should they take their time to listen to me? It is my unique perspective. It is my distinct voice. Maybe it's what I look like. Maybe it's what I sound like. What is that special sauce that you are able to bring to your podcast that is your unique angle? Discovering this unique angle is so important for making sure that you're attracting the right kinds of listeners. If you don't have a unique angle, then it's kind of like just throwing a net out and hoping that you're going to catch something, only to realize that you're fishing in your pool. Not okay. So instead, making sure that as you're talking about your podcast, as you're expressing what it is that you do with your show, how you help people or support people or even entertain people, that it is for them specifically, that they feel like, wow, I know where I am and I know why I'm here and I'm excited to be here. It is the foundation for creating a podcast that's both fulfilling and successful. Hello and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Alicia. I'm the founder of Galati Media. We partner with value-driven businesses, thought leaders, and nonprofits to launch and grow podcasts that drive meaningful results, transform lives, and create positive change. Before we get into how to create your unique angle or discover it, here are some benefits of having a unique angle. Number one, it allows you to attract the right listeners. When you have a clear and unique angle to your podcast, when you talk about your show, it allows people to easily self-select, hey, this is for me, or hey, this isn't for me. And both ways are fine. It's okay if you are not for everyone, but it allows you to talk more specifically to the problems that your ideal listener is struggling with, and it leads to more engagement and loyalty to your show. It also builds authority. If you are looking to establish yourself as a thought leader in your industry with a very distinct voice and perspective, then it is so important that you have this unique angle for you. That increases your credibility and it attracts opportunities of people saying, hey, I want to talk to someone about this topic. This is the person I need to talk to because they have a unique perspective that our audience maybe hasn't heard before. Finally, it allows you to stand out from the competition. There are a lot of podcasts out there, and there are a lot of podcasts that might talk about what you talk about. But by having a unique angle, by being able to articulate that clearly, it allows you to differentiate your show from others that are in your same industry and attract a dedicated audience. And you want that. You want to be able to showcase yourself as an expert and say, I know what I'm talking about. Here's why you should listen to my show. And by doing that, it allows you to stand out. Here are a few ways to define your podcast's unique angle. Number one, identify your passions and your expertise. What topics are you truly passionate about? And I don't just mean you could talk about it off and on for a little bit. I mean, what are you very excited to talk about. You're absolutely passionate about it. You genuinely want to share this. You're enthusiastic, and it shows through in your voice. Whatever your unique experiences are, or your perspectives that you bring to the table, those are some other things to identify your passions and your expertise. So here's something that you can do. I want you to create a list of 3 to 5 passions or areas of expertise and consider how these translate into an engaging podcast episode. If you're someone who doesn't have a podcast yet, then think about it as, what are 3 to 5 passions or areas of expertise that I have that I can translate into 25 podcast episodes? But by identifying your passions and your expertise, even if you're a seasoned podcaster, this is going to keep the spark alive. It's going to keep your audience engaged. It's going to keep you engaged, which then leads to more connection and impact. The second thing you can do is explore different angles within your topic. So now that we've kind of identified what those things are, we're going to find those angles. So I want you to think about, what are different ways to approach your topic? Are there any underserved audiences or unmet needs within your niche? This can help you offer a fresh perspective to these people who are searching for you. One thing that I'm working on as I'm shifting this podcast just a little bit, we are going through a rebrand at 200 episodes, which should be happening around April of 2025. And I'm thinking about, who are those people that I want to serve? Yes, it's listeners to leads, and that's great. But is that what I want to continue talking about? Yes, I want to still talk about podcasting, but how can I shift it to really navigate and follow where I want to take the business, where I want to take the things that I offer? And so thinking more about impact and how, yes, leads are great, but are we creating the impact that we want to see in the world through our content, through our podcast? And so how can you get deeper within just, okay, these are the general topics I like to talk about, but how can you get a little deeper, dig a little deeper, get a little closer to who that ideal listener is that you can offer that perspective? So what I want you to do here is, I want you to brainstorm some different angles and formats for your podcast. What does your target audience want to hear? And what are some things that they might find interesting or valuable that you know you can talk to? Number 3, validate that unique angle. Don't just assume that your angle's a winner. Sadly, it might not be. And I want you to get some feedback from your target audience. Get some feedback from people who listen to the show. Get them to validate that idea or to redirect you in a direction that actually makes sense for you and what they would come to expect from you. I remember we had someone on the show. I want to say her name is Courtney Elmer. We'll make sure we have links for that in the show notes. And Courtney was talking about how she went through a rebrand of her podcast, and she had been fighting herself for like 6 months before she decided to make the leap. And she was feeling frustrated and annoyed, and then finally just said, I'm going to do it. And went to her audience and said, hey, we're making these adjustments. And they were like, finally. Because they knew, they could see it, they could feel it, they could hear it in how she was talking about her content, that it was shifting. And so ask your audience, ask them for some honest feedback. If you're nervous to ask your audience, then ask people who you know, like, and trust, and who know, like, and trust you, that they can give you that honest feedback and ensure that it's actually a demand for this topic and it makes sense for you. Now that we have these kind of nailed out of understanding our unique angle, I would love to hear what your podcast's unique angle is. Make sure you share your ideas, your challenges, send me a DM or leave a comment on the YouTube video. I would love to know what your unique angle is. And if you're ready to take the next step in defining your podcast direction, make sure that you download my free podcast launch roadmap. You can go to galatimedia.com/roadmap, and that will take you directly to download that free launch roadmap. You can also sign up for my free upcoming podcast launch workshop. We're going to be going through the roadmap as well as answering any questions that you have on launching your podcast strategically in the next few months. Until next time, happy podcasting.